All right, welcome back. Let's talk about career paths. For career paths, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a standard path, but there are definitely popular approaches companies use for scaling and growing product teams. One of the more popular approaches is called dual track or parallel track. You'll find quite a few companies offer this type of career path. And you'll also find that UX professionals that have been in the space for, say, 10 to 15 years may follow a similar pattern of how they've evolved their career as they've moved from company to company and role to role. Now, while I don't recommend chasing titles and money as a way to navigate your and progress your career, I do recommend staying role and company focused in your overall career path, and the rest is going to follow. It's going to be a natural progression for you to start off as an associate level UX professional that is either, promoted in due time, or you choose to move on to another opportunity with a company offering a more senior role. Regardless, make sure you stay focused on the role and the opportunity, and again, less on titles and money. Titles and money are important, but it's really about the role and the opportunity itself, and to make sure that you're really on a growth track. So let's walk through the dual track model. As I mentioned, your immediate focus should be on evolving into a solid senior practitioner that can deliver across the full spectrum of research, strategy, and design. Being able to execute across, all the different core competencies of UX are going to make you much more competitive in the marketplace should you ever find yourself laid off. Okay. If you bring to the table or begin showing a real knack and aptitude for an area of craft specialization when you're starting off, that's great. You'll want to grow and evolve that as you become more experienced at executing work across the board. Again, an important exception to the focus on being a UX generalist is UX research. If you want to focus on and pursue UX research, then go for it. It holds its own as an area of key specialization that offers a healthy career track. All right. With the dual track model, there are really two paths you can go down. One path is focused on craft specialization and being an individual contributor and leading solution delivery, while the other path is focused on people management and leadership. So let's say you started off with a company as an associate level UX professional, and over the course of a few years, you were promoted to a senior UX designer, and you were showing a real knack for and a proficiency at, strategy. And you really got into strategy and a lot of the different activities associated with that. Then let's say you were approached with becoming a UX strategy lead that was focused on leading solution delivery with a keen focus on the strategy piece. At this point, your specialization, coupled with your ability to, deliver across the core UX process, you're starting to grow into a T-shaped UXer, meaning that you're both broad and deep. At this point in your career, you may not be interested in people managing or growing into a leader that's, say, less involved in the overall craft of product design and more focused on operations and business development. So let's say in this new craft focus role as a lead, you may have a dotted line to like a senior team lead that oversees multiple people, while you report directly to a manager that you meet with consistently as a part of your career development within the company. And let's say at this point, while you enjoyed your craft and specialization, let's say you did develop an interest in managing people. And just a few quick notes here. It's often that people that don't want to manage people actually wind up being great managers because they understand and have experienced both good and bad management. People managing is tough, but leadership overall is tough, but it's also very rewarding, and it opens a lot of doors to doing a whole myriad of different things besides being an individual contributor. But okay, back to the scenario. Let's say you decide you want to manage people, then go and do it, right? Perhaps there could be an opportunity to step into a role as a senior lead at your current company that gives you experience managing people that say they may have a dotted line to you. So before you're promoted to a full-on manager position with direct reports, let's say that you start off managing people that do just have a dotted line to you. Or you could decide to re-enter the job market and look for opportunities where you'd have direct reports. So as you consider your career path, it's important to remember that we all start on the same path in terms of craft and becoming proficient across the full process. Bringing existing specialties to the table is great. So if you're already a great researcher because you have a related background and experience, or UI and product designer because of a background in graphic design, that's highly valuable. But you don't want that to overshadow you becoming proficient at the activities across research, strategy, and design, and really the core of UX. So when it comes to craft leadership, okay, it's a complex space, and when interviewing, you should ask questions about how your prospective employer structures and offers different career tracks. Even if you go and work at a startup where you're a team of one, you still want to get a sense for what leadership's vision is for evolving the team, whether it's along the lines of a dual track model or something else. Again, leadership is hard, and managing people is hard, but it's extremely rewarding. So the career path for UX is not set in stone. It's very fluid. You may take twists and turns throughout the course of your career. But again, I encourage you not to chase titles and money. It's not worth it. And when you start doing that, you could wind up miserable. So just, take that with a grain of salt for what it's worth. One final thought: don't be a jack of all trades and master of nothing. Really work to master the full competency of UX and then go after your specialization. When you have that type of experience under your belt and keep your generalist skills sharp, you'll be highly valued as a resource that can always support the full life cycle. It's okay if you're not as interested in or as passionate about research and really want to focus on design, or vice versa, but you still need to know how to execute and structure work across the full spectrum. All right, that's it for career path. We're going to move on to discuss UX industries next, so I'll see you in that video.